Hello everyone and welcome to AML UAE's YouTube channel. We are back with another episode of our knowledge podcast series, Know Your Compliance with AML Experts. Joining us today, we have Ms. Dipali Bora. She is a certified AML specialist and a company secretary, holding over 8 years of experience in AML compliance. We welcome you, Dipali.
Thank you, Yashvi.
So, just to give you a brief idea of what we're trying to achieve here, when we started this knowledge podcast series, we wanted to learn new things about AML compliance. But somewhere around, we have realized this that to learn something new, you need to unlearn something. And for that, today we are going to cover some myths and misconceptions surrounding AML compliance that generally people believe in. And we'll see if these are true or maybe they can be refined a bit. So let's start. Starting first of all with KYC, I've seen that a lot of people believe that KYC is a very important part of AML compliance, and while that is true, a lot of people believe that in AML compliance, KYC is just collecting documents. What are your thoughts on that?
So basically, if I go by the word KYC, it's know your customer. So the main intention of getting the documents is to make sure that the person that you are dealing with is the same person who they say they are. So it's important that when you are seeking KYC documents, proper verification is done. It's just not for the sake of having them we are keeping them. No, we are actually looking at the KYC documents, also looking at the person whom we are providing these services. That is our customers. So that has to match.
Okay, got it. Another very important component in AML compliance and customer due diligence, apart from KYC, what we see is sanction screening. And I've seen that in sanction screening, a lot of people, when they screen the name of their customer against sanctions list, and if there is no match, they think that the customer poses no risk of money laundering or terrorism financing or proliferation financing. Do you think this is a correct approach?
So I would say that depends upon tool to tool. Okay, many times what happens is I'll share my personal experience with you. That maybe I'm looking for a person, Mr. ABC. Okay, now if I look at the social media profile or if I'm just checking that person's name independently, that person would be referred as Mr. AB with the same photo. Maybe some adverse media is also there with Mr. AB. So at times I'm going to miss if I'm solely relying on Mr. ABC's results which I get from the sanction screening module. So I would say that the best approach in such cases would be to also do some independent checks rather than solely relying on the sanction screening results.
Right. Thank you so much for explaining that very well. Coming to the tools that you mentioned, a lot of times, and now that the technology is advancing so rapidly, there are so many tools that are available in the market, and they are used for AML compliance. But then there are some businesses that are solely relying on the outputs of these sanction screening softwares. Do you think it is correct to just rely on a technology, or do you think that more human interpretation or interference is required?
So what happens is, as you said, that there are so many screening softwares which are there. Now, ideally, how they work is you screen somebody, you get a match. Now, the software is not automatically going to disambiguate for you. So, there has to be human intervention because after then only we will come to know that whether that person is a match or it's not a match or what action is to be taken. So, human intervention is any which way is there. And as I said in your earlier question, also, there has to be some independent checks. Many times I have come across such situations where I am maybe I'm screening something and the person's match is completely clear. There's no sanction match, there's no adverse media, or they're not even belonging to the PEP category. But some way it's because I'm the name that I'm writing is the full name. But when I go for some, as I said, Mr. AB and Mr. ABC, I might find something.
That makes a lot of sense. Talking about human interference, human touch, we see again AML audits, independent AML audits are an important part of AML compliance. But there are many businesses who believe that independent audit is AML audit is just the same as any financial audit, that you just have to present a few books of accounts or numbers or reports and the job is done. Do you really think that it's the same, or it's so simple?
No, so I would like to clear this myth. Financial audit is very different from the AML CFT audit. Now, financial audit is more about the numbers, profit and loss, your audit, your basically relating to the revenue that you are doing. Correct? Now, coming to the AML CFT audit, the sole purpose of conducting AML CFT audit is to understand what is the difference between what is written in your policy, okay, and what are you actually implementing. Also, one more thing I would like to highlight here is that many times people say that companies might just come and say that I'm following my policy, but the policy itself is not as per the law. Okay, so when audit is done, it's basically a comprehensive check of what your current AML CFT process are, which includes verification, or I would say review of your AML CFT policy. If there are any shortcomings which is not as per the law, that would be highlighted. Also, let's assume that the policy and procedures are perfect, okay, but you're not implementing them well. If your policy says that you are going to take identity proof and address proof, okay, but you end up only taking ID proof. So here is what you are not complying your own policies, okay. So it's very important that we understand financial audit is completely different than AML CFT independent audit. The sole purpose is to identify what are the gaps between what is as per the law written in the policy, and what are you actually implementing in your organizations. So AML CFT audit will ultimately help you to identify gap and remediate them. So if you know what the fault is, of course you're going to rectify it.
Thank you. And I really, get or understand what you're trying to say with respect to remediation, because again, when you start out, you may not be aware of certain things, and when you proceed, there are some certain changes that you would want to make in your AML policy or AML framework. And that brings me to my next question. A lot of people, when they are doing customer due diligence, they think that before onboarding a customer, I need to do due diligence. But once I've onboarded the customer, there's no need to do any checks, or I don't need to, because I know the customer well now. So this is the kind of approach a lot of businesses take, that they do not repeatedly review their CDD processes or their customer information. So what are your thoughts on that? Are regular checks required, or should CDD be done just once and for all and be done with it?
So to begin with, I'm very well aware about this approach what people have. Yes. Now coming to your question. Now let's understand this with a logic. When you have onboarded a customer, you don't know that what kind of transactions that person is going to do in the entire business relationship. Now you've onboarded, you've done KYC, fine. But now overall you will have to monitor them, because you have to make sure that the reason why they came to your organization, to be your customer, or the kind of the services that they are taking, whether that is the same, whether their profile is also the same, or maybe the kind of the transactions that they are doing, is this the same before they came to you. So ongoing monitoring, okay, be it for the transactions that they are doing or with respect to their due diligence, it's important, because that will help you to understand that the risk which is coming from that particular customer over the time, the risk will not remain the same. Today, a person that I have onboarded, maybe as per my ongoing monitoring, I come to know that that person has now, being is associated with a PEP, or maybe that person is now sanctioned. How am I going to keep control about that? So yes, for that purpose, it's important that proper KYCs are done, proper due diligence are being done, and that is also done on a regular basis, not just one time thing.
Wow, that makes a lot of sense. I have a lot of questions that I want to ask with respect to compliance processes. I mean, there are so many more misconceptions that people have. But coming to one last very big misconception, and that this is not related to the processes, this is related to the approach that people have with respect to AML compliance. We see that day in, day out, businesses who are following AML compliance processes, they have employed a few people for doing this job, and they think that employing a few people is done. Their job in AML compliance is done. The process, or the responsibility of AML compliance is of the AML compliance department. Do you really think this is a good practice, or should this be a whole of organization approach?
This has to be the whole of the organization approach. and that standard has to be set by the senior management, the tone of the talk. So if the senior management itself, they tell them that, yeah, this is AML compliance, we have to follow, and they themselves are aware about, the compliance requirements, that will be really helpful for the employees in the organization also to be, very particular about this. What happens is, if senior management is not interested, or maybe they're not aware about this, things will be very loose when it comes to compliance, even at, the compliance department level. So here I would say the training is important for everybody, be it senior management, be it MLRO, or the staff employees who are working in the organization. And the responsibility of the compliance lies with the company, senior management, employees, everybody who is the part of that organization. It's just not limited to the compliance department.
Thank you so much, Dipali. You've given us a lot of clarity surrounding AML compliance. So, to all our viewers who are watching us right now, if you have any questions that you want to ask to our AML experts, you can go on to www.amlfaqs.com. You can post your question plan, and we'll take up those questions and get them answered by our AML experts in upcoming episodes. So until then, you can keep watching this other episodes that we have with regards to AML compliance. We have other episodes we have shot for a Know Your Compliance series, so you can watch those videos. Subscribe to AML UAE's YouTube channel, like this video, and share it with your friends who may be interested in AML compliance. Thank you so much for watching.